How do you know if online therapy is a fit for you? What are your best options if online therapy is a fit for you? In this video, I'll be reviewing two online therapy service providers, Talkspace and Calmerry, and providing you with a clear choice depending on your personal circumstance about which one is best for you. I've used both of these apps and services. I've researched everything I can about them. I've looked at all the third-party reviews. I'm excited to kind of bring it all together for you. I do want to give you a notice of bias. I love therapy. Therapy has been a huge part of my life. I continue to see a therapist weekly, as I have been for the past 7 years, and I imagine I will continue seeing a therapist in some sort for the rest of my life. I don't say that in a broken way. I say that in a way where it's really good to have a wise person on your side who you can share your feelings with, who can get perspective and get advice. It's just incredibly helpful. It's been a big impact in my life. Because I already have a great relationship with the therapist, I have not specifically tried any of the therapists listed on these services. And also because I am a believer in mental health, I do believe that both of these, because they provide convenient access to online therapy and where you have a variety of options to choose from, I do believe that fundamental value is more than enough to compensate for their flaws. But what are their flaws? Have they mislabeled any of their services? What are the most common user complaints? What are their pricing levels? And finally, which one is better for you? We're going to be covering all that stuff today. Welcome to Online Mental Health. Comment with which one of these is your favorite, or drop me a comment down below with what review I should cover next so that your mental health can be the best. Big picture, what is Talkspace and what is Calmerry? They are both online therapy service providers with an app. Both have a quiz where you sign up, you fill out information, you get matched with a therapist, you tell the therapist about your problems along with the quiz you took. You start with a subscription, you start going to therapy, whether it's text messaging or live sessions or other plans, and you ideally get the help you need. The benefits of both of these services are simple. Online access to therapy, putting mental health out there, connecting people to licensed therapists. My biggest critique of both of these is that their plans, for the most part, only have half-hour sessions. Talkspace specifically only has half-hour sessions, which for me, about a half hour, I'm just getting into it. I'm really starting to get into the depth of the material, and that's when I am actually starting to really get into a flow at about 30 minutes. Calmerry does offer an ability to purchase an additional payment, but you actually have to log out and log back in to continue your conversation. So both of these, this is my biggest critique of these apps, is that they cut the conversation a bit short, or you have to pay for a bit extra. The biggest difference between these two is insurance. Talkspace allows you to connect with tons of different insurance providers, and that is why it is my clear preference if you have insurance. If you have insurance, save your money, go to Talkspace. Calmerry does not accept most forms of insurance. If you have an HSA or FSA, it's possible that Calmerry will help with that, but for the most part, if you have insurance, Talkspace is the way to go. On the other hand, Calmerry is more affordable if you are paying out of pocket. I believe that the quality of services are about equal. However, another consideration you must take into account is that Talkspace has a psychiatry service. They can prescribe medications. You still have to go pick it up, and they can't prescribe all medications, but Calmerry, on the other hand, does not. Talkspace is better if you have insurance and if you need medications. Calmerry is better if you are paying out of pocket. Let's get into the common reviews. So I looked up all the reviews online. Talkspace has a pretty popular app, 20,000 downloads, 4.5 average rating. People like their app. Calmerry, on the other hand, has a Calmerry, on the other hand, has a app that has like 1 out of 5. When I tried Calmerry, I found that their online desktop version was a little glitchy. I'd have to click things twice, reload pages. I got to sign up just fine, but it's a little bit clunky. I could see why users are a little upset at their user interface. But in terms of other reviews, non-app reviews, I'm talking not on the Google Play Store or Apple Play Store, Calmerry has fewer reviews. There just aren't that many. They are positive. On the other hand, Talkspace has many hundreds of negative reviews online. And this was hard for me to determine. Talkspace, when you look at the app downloads, it has many thousands of more reviews. It's a more popular service, probably because it takes insurance. So when you have all these hundreds of reviews, it's easy to focus on those reviews and to think that those reviews represent the entire Talkspace. But when you have just so many more reviews, naturally, you're going to have more negative reviews as well. So it is a little bit harder for me to determine which are about the same. Considering the vast majority of the reviews are positive, actually, despite the hundreds of negative reviews, I am inclined to believe that Talkspace is resolving most of their concerns and providing a good experience. However, the biggest online complaint against Talkspace is that if you cancel your subscription, you have to complete your subscription before it's canceled. So if you paid monthly and you only do one session a month, if you only do one session, then you have to pay for the rest of the month. So that kind of sucks, and that's the most common complaint online, and that seems pretty justified to me. It's a pretty big mark against. Calmerry, on the other hand, does allow you to pause your account and cancel at any time. So we have a big discrepancy there. You should also know that Talkspace is in a class action lawsuit regarding data privacy. There has been an article in the New York Times where former employees accused them of selling data. There's been a few negative reviews on Calmerry as well for selling data. I personally did not find the Calmerry privacy page that convincing. And I would think that if you are signing up, I know these companies are private, they have their data encrypted. I personally wouldn't trust them in that way. I would think they're doing something to the data. That's my take. It's just my gut feeling. That being said, I still think the benefits of therapy, connecting to a person who can change your life, finding that person, the value that these services do provide, again, far outweigh their real drawbacks. There are real drawbacks, like from the session length to the possible privacy concerns to some subscription issues. There are real issues here. But today we're just specifically looking at Talkspace and Calmerry, and I do think that their value is worth it overall. So if you're debating between those two, I hope you take into consideration, one, do you have insurance? If so, go with Talkspace. If not, Calmerry. Two, is 30 minutes enough for you? And three, I always want to give the encouragement as we wrap up the video. There are lots of other different therapists out there. There are directories. There's psychologyhelp.com. Probably the best way you can get connected to someone who will change your life is through a friend. I can't tell you how many people I've referred to therapists that I like. I can't say that all of them work out. I think the hardest part in finding a partner for therapy is finding a partner for therapy. So it can be difficult. So I don't want to discourage you from trying these online services, but also just to consider the offline alternatives as well. Therapy can be great. I highly suggest it. It's a great. So I hope this review helps you sort through some of your options and understand at least a little bit more about the online mental health field. Please leave a comment with your experience using these apps, or leave me a request for what mental health service I should review next. Okay, namaste.